Hello, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be an update for my Pan Those palettes, which is a continuation of last year's but slightly differently. So you can watch my intro, which I'll have linked in the end cards and in the description box. But basically this year I am panning the same Franken face palette and 3 out of the 4 eyeshadow palettes that I was panning last year, and I'm just very happy about it, and I'm excited for this update. Not the most exciting update, but I'm kind of loving, maybe not life, but I'm loving the products that I'm panning right now. I think I'll start with my face palette. This is what it looks like. The only thing is I put an eyeshadow that I'm panning in here just because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. But other than this is my face palette. And I think the only difference really, that if you will even be able to see it, is I do have like a dip in this blush right here, just because anytime I have like both of the cream blushes I'm panning in other projects, and actually all of the blushes, out of all the blushes I'm panning, cream and powder, this is the only like warm leaning blush that I have. So anytime I've done a warm look, really since the intro, this is the one that I've been using and I've been really liking it. But yeah, I did notice that I do have to put on, or maybe this was always the case and I just never knew it, sorry for the jet in the background, but I do have to pack this on a little bit for it to show up, and that might possibly be because this is about 3 years old now, so maybe it's just starting to lose a bit of vitality. But because I do have to scrub my brush in there a little bit, I am getting it dip, but again, I don't think you can really see it. The blush that I'm wearing today though is this one. I thought it would kind of go with like the pinky purpley look that I have going on, and then I topped it with a few different highlighters actually, so it's a little bit toned down, but I really like the way that looks. But yeah, this is just the same old. I probably should have used the bronzer and the contour from this today since I was updating this, but I mean, I forgot, and anyway, that wouldn't even have really made a difference. So yeah, this is just what the progress is probably going to look like until I finish the cream cheek products that I have in my 26 and 2026, which will probably be like at least another month. Once I finish those, I'll start using these probably every single day. Now onto my eyeshadow palettes, and I'll start with the one that I'm wearing, which is my e.l.f. Rose Gold Nude palette. So I'm like exclusively wearing shades from this palette. I did my go-to look, which is I started with this shade all over my eye, deepened up the outer corner with this one, and then put this pink metallic on top. And then I did kind of like, I always usually use one of these two as my inner corner highlight, but because I've been using my highlighters as like my Essence Pure Nude highlighters as my inner corner highlights every single day basically, that's just kind of what I put on my inner corner. And then I remembered that I have an inner corner in this palette, so I used this one just like right on the very inner corner of my eyes, which I think it's still like, this is definitely more punchy than my Essence Pure Nude, so it did give just like an extra pop in the very inner corner, which I really like. And then I didn't want to neglect this one, so on top of the highlight that I already had on, I wanted to test if this one is subtle enough to where it could be like a cheek highlight. So I did just take like more of a pinpointed brush and I just put it on the high points of my cheekbones, and I actually do think like it's definitely more intense and frosty than the Essence Pure Nude, but I do think this could actually work as a cheek highlight. So maybe I'll end up, I don't know, depotting. I'm not really sure how I'm going to use it, but that was a nice discovery. But other than this look, I think I did that look once more before, like that exact same look, except with just setting my eyeshadow primer with this shade, which you won't be able to really see a difference in it because it was just one use. And then when I was panning my Blues Beauty eyeshadow palette, I did use this shade on top of it once, so I think this palette is very versatile, but I just am panning so many eyeshadows that I haven't been using this nearly as much as I wanted to in the first month. So I'm going to have to prioritize this one again because I feel like this is, again, mostly suited to winter. And I only have about 1 month left of winter. So yeah, next update, I'm hoping to see like actual dips forming. But then I have my Pat McGrath, the Eye Ecstasy Sublime palette. I can't remember if I used this one. I definitely did not use this one, but the other three I actually did use. So I'm very happy about that. This one I've been pairing with that single green shade that was in my face palette, Z palette, because that one is in my The Office Project pan. I'm trying to hit pan and it's going to take a while, so I'll definitely be getting a lot of use because that's kind of just my go-to look for that, just putting this on top of it. And then I used this one, but I did use this like 2 or 3 times just because, again, I was pairing it with my Blues Beauty palette in my Project Level Up Light, and it just looks so beautiful. And then in general, this is just a nice subtle metallic to use for any occasion, and it just always looks good on me, so it's kind of like probably my go-to in this palette. But that being said, no real dips other than the one in this one, because this is the most like creamy metallic in this palette. I do have a bit of a dip going on in there, which I don't know how much you'll be able to see in the camera, but I definitely don't think I'm close to hitting pan. Then finally I have my ABH Norvina. This palette is really starting to look beat up. And I do have pan in this palette. So right here, this was just like a setting powder that I pressed into this pan just so I could have a lid setting shade in here. So I guess like it wasn't even in this pan or this palette to begin with. And it was a pretty easy shade to hit pan on anyway, but I'm still very happy about it. I have really good pan too. I pretty much use this every single day, even when I'm not setting my eyeshadow primer. I still use this because like every single look I use this to blend out like my transition shade, because I just feel like my looks are always more polished when I do that. It looks more like a gradient rather than my eyeshadow blending isn't that bad, but I just feel like it helps with it. I know for sure that I did use incense, so I must have used that dark brown from the Pat McGrath palette, because that's what I pair it with. But I feel like I am, again, I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see, but I feel like I am close to pan on incense, especially in like the bottom part of the dip. So I'm just hoping next time I will actually have pan in that shade, and then for sure next time I will have to kind of like re-up my setting shade in this pan if I haven't already done it by then. Other than that, not much use on this palette because again, I've been panning so many other things. Like in my Old New Gifted Blue, I always have an eyeshadow palette. I have my Project Level Up Light palettes and single shadows in my The Office Project pan, so I am trying to kind of slow down how many other eyeshadows that I'm panning in projects, so that I don't have my attention elsewhere while I'm really trying to pan these, because as I keep saying, I definitely am planning on decluttering all 3 of those eyeshadow palettes. The sun is disappearing. Sorry. I am planning on decluttering all 3 of those eyeshadow palettes at the end of the year, like I said I was going to last year. So I do want to actually get a lot of use on these palettes, and get as many pans as possible, which like I'm totally okay with not finishing any shades. That's never been my goal anytime I've done a pan that palette. I have come very close to finishing a shade before, but then I just refilled the shade anyway. But basically what I'm trying to say is my goal is pretty much just to hit pans, and I want to hit as many pans as possible. So yeah, just need to really focus and hone in on these palettes, especially the rose gold, because this one is very seasonal in my opinion. But that will just be it for this project update. I will see you in my next video, and until then I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.